Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to HFTG Archives. I have not streamed in a very long time, so I had my guest here walk me through the entire setup of StreamYard and how to do OBS all over again. It's been a chore, and he has been cussing me out and just a real slave driver. But before we get all to that, my name, of course, is Antoine, and you all are here to listen to us discuss a few things, and two of our guests are not here yet, which is fine, but I was expecting a little bit more. It's alright. So I want to introduce someone. I have talked to him on Twitter. He seems like a nice old chap. His name on Twitter is Fight the Matriarchy. He is his link to his Twitter, if you want to follow him, is down below in the description. He posts a lot of memes. Some of them are funny, some of them are really funny, and then some of them I don't necessarily agree with, but that's okay. So, Fight the Matriarchy. Introduce yourselves.
What's up? I'm Fight the Matriarchy. I'm a red pillar, or I didn't officially start with that. That was just something that was, kind of thrown at me at first, like an insult. I'd say like last year, for me having debates on, traditional values, religious values, Christianity, and so on and so forth. Um, yeah, I'm I'm not gonna get like super personal into like what I do. I don't really care about fame, clout, etc. I feel like religion, tradition, the red pill in its entirety is good. History supports that, in my opinion, and I that's all I really care about is just getting the world back to like a '90s vibe.
The 90s. All right. Well, did you want if you're not looking for clout or fame, this is the perfect channel for it. Uh, I am not some giant streamer or video maker. I don't know if you know what I do. I'm probably just going to call you Matriarchy, if that's all right. I. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's fine. Matriarchy's fine.
Okay. You don't have to keep yourself muted. Just to let you know, you can, unless it's like, I'll let you know if there's an echo or something. Um, so I don't necessarily just call out the red pill. I started a long time ago calling out extreme feminism, SJWs. I guess you could say I was anti all of that stuff. I used to hang out with the honey badgers. Um, I've done the MRA thing, and what my channel is basically I just point out stupidity and I laugh at it. Right now, the red pill is in my purview. So before we go forward thing, I want to state I am not a tradcon. Alright? So any arguments you had with that, throw them right out the window. But I'm also not religious. If you are, that's fine. I believe in a higher power. I just don't have a religion. I guess that's called agnostic. But you and I, well, so how I met you is I kind of got tagged into a thread by Barbara, aka Skarlet, and you and I had a slight back and forth. I didn't think it was. You could have read it wrong. I didn't think it was hostile, but you said you wanted to talk. I don't do Twitter Spaces, so we agreed on this, and here we are. So you wanted to talk about the 19th Amendment, which is in general giving women the ability to vote. I shared an old video of mine, and you were like, I don't want to listen to someone ramble on. Let me explain that. It's kind of an inside joke That was a former friend of mine. He wrote this whole script that it was kind of because that video was me coming back after a break. So it was like me finding someone else that I could go after, kind of thing. Now, I use the term go after, it's more I respond to things. I do bring up. I bring up stats. I bring up links. I bring up graphs. I bring up articles. I try and source them as best I can, and so that's why there was the fire. And I was like, if you want to listen to it, skip past the fire part. Um, After doing that, the video is not that long actually, but I did a video on this whole repeal the 19th thing a long time ago, a couple of years ago. So just to catch you up on that.
All right. So, because after you agreed to the debate at first, the whole fire thing, yeah, did come across as rambling to me. But after you agreed to the debate, with or without Barbara, I did watch the video, and yeah, I'm pretty caught up on it. I know it was some guy named
Yes.
Pinoid, and he was basically saying things that Just Parley Things, Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit podcast. He's basically just said everything that they, say now. So,
Right. That video was done before Andrew Tate, before Fresh and Fit. Like I said, it was a couple years ago. Now, I know that um, Fresh and Fit is relatively new. But I believe so. You know who RX Redpill is, yes?
well, yeah, I had a Twitter space with him. So, yeah, I follow him too. So, yeah, I guess I know who he is.
So you've actually talked to him.
I mean, I think in one space I was listening and I chose not to talk, but yeah, I've been in a couple of spaces with him.
Okay. So what is? Are you someone who? Now I know you wanted to debate, and I wanted to specify. Get this out of the way first. I wanted to specify, like having a moderator, timed things. That's what a debate is. What we're doing right now could be considered a debate, but there's no moderator. It's just two of us talking. There's no winning. We're just trying to have a conversation. That's what I meant by discussion. And we can go
Yeah.
wherever you want with this. If we get done talking about the 19th Amendment and we agree on it, or whatever, we reach common ground and we move on to other things, 100% fine. I have no issue with that. So, what are you someone who just wants to repeal the 19th outright, or are you someone who just doesn't want to let women vote?
All right. Well, I'll take this as we're starting. So, yes, to answer your question, um I okay, so starting with the 19th Amendment. So, just like you and just like, every quote unquote misogynistic, red pill, tyrannical, controlling guy, I used to be a feminist. I used to be all about women's rights. I used to um basically I would just what people can now would consider blue pill. I did not know what those institutions or movements stood for. I was really not educated on them. I was just cuz I was just a normal like young adult. And I thought feminism back then, whenever I didn't know about it, was, you know, a group specifically for women. Like if a woman needed help paying for a medical bill, oh, here's a feminism hotline, like 1-800 feminism, and then they'll cover your bill and shit. I just thought they were just all about helping women. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, no problem. Like, women are very important. Women are very precious. Like, and men built the world and stuff. So if they need institutions for themselves, that's no problem. But then it was whenever I was an adult, and I started dating myself, and I started hanging around women. Even if I didn't bang them, maybe I just hung out with them, flirted, kissed, so on and so forth. I started knowing about women, but I considered myself a traditional guy, and acting traditional in this modern era, like that usually gets you like cheated on, or that's whenever you get that whole quote, nice guys finish last, like rubbed in your face and shit.
So real
So
quick,
that was my red pill like origin. And
real
that's whenever go on.
how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
23.
23. All right. I am, just to get this out of the way, I am almost twice your age. I'm 42 years old, going to be 43 in August. So you, when you started to say you were a feminist, which is fine. I wouldn't consider myself a feminist. I know you all, and when I say you all, I don't mean you specifically. I'm talking about the red pill. You all like to label me as a blue pill cuck or a feminist or a simp or whatever. Um, I'm not. I'm very much still about men's rights. No one ever asks. So before we get too far into the weeds, what don't you like about the 19th Amendment? Is it just that it gives the women right to vote, or that it gave everyone the right to vote?
So the 19th Amendment, as far as I know, whenever I started going through my red pill journey, I looked up what it was, and as far as I know, besides race, it was more so about giving women the right to vote. Because whenever I heard about the 19 being repealed, it was mainly women who were offended by that idea. So after I learned about it, after I learned about why there was a 19th Amendment, I definitely was like, all right, yeah, fuck the 19th Amendment. And and then the more you dig into it, the more you research it, you realize that the majority of even like women also sided with repealing the 19th, or there shouldn't have been a 19th at all.
So it wasn't the majority. If you're talking about, so the people who fought for the right to vote were, of course, first wave feminists, right? They're the ones who wanted the right to vote. There were women who pushed against it because they believed that with the right to vote, they would also have to join the military, and they didn't want to do that. Now, if we want to talk about the draft, we can, but you just don't like the 19th Amendment because it gives the women right to vote. Now, is there a specific reason why, or is it just because they
So
get a vote?
it's due to really history. Like I was gonna name the draft. The fact that you know about it, it's fair to say that we're fairly educated on the draft. Like you get a right to vote. Like if you get drafted, you have a right to vote. That's as am I right or am I wrong?
Hold on just a second. Scarlet's here. I'm going to bring her in, but I'll answer your
Yeah.
question in just a second. All right. Uh, Barbara is here. Hello, Barbara. We are joined.
Hello.
We are joined by Fight the Matriarchy. Sergio is not here yet, but I need to answer a question. We're talking about the 19th. We're trying to keep it very civil. So, um, so ask your question one more time about the draft and what you were going to bring up.
I was just saying we seem fairly educated on the draft, and the whole right to vote was if you get drafted in the military services, you get the right to vote. Am I right or am I wrong?
So you're right and wrong. Let me explain. So for men to get the right to vote, we had to sign up for the draft. I had to do it when I was 18. I'm pretty sure you had to do it when you were 18. You get a little card, you have to fill it out, you send it in. Um, so that was the way that the men got to vote. It was you signed up for the potential of being drafted into the military during wartime. So
Yeah.
that in itself is one of the reasons that women didn't want the non-suffragettes didn't want the right to vote, because they believed that it was going to have them force them into a responsibility that they didn't want, right? They're being asked to join the military or forced to join the military, and they didn't want to. So that whole thing with the 19th Amendment got rid of that. The ability to vote is no longer necessarily tied to men signing up for the draft. Now, I
I mean,
believe
I haven't heard of that. I've never heard of the 19th Amendment getting rid of that, because the 19th Amendment is just about giving women and other races rights.
it's not that it got rid of it. Now, you can register to vote even if you don't register for the draft. What the 19th Amendment did is allowed women to surpass signing up for the draft. So if you didn't sign up for the draft at 18, I know it says you're not going to be able to register to vote. You get to vote. You have to register to vote. It's just signing up for the draft registers you for it, which is why
Okay.
it kind of with the card. If you remember, I know it was like 5 years ago. For me, it was a lot longer. It asked you what your political affiliation is. Most people, when they're young, they are liberal. It's just what it is. You have a lot of ideals, you have a lot of things that you think should happen. I would be, when I was in my early 20s, I was probably considered an extreme liberal. I believed that the government needed to pay for everything. There's enough money in the billionaires and the millionaires for them to pay for everything. I don't believe that anymore because I'm older and have gone through a hell of a lot. What the 19th Amendment did is just allowed women the right to vote without signing up for the draft. Which later on, it was, once a precedent is set like that, and we start talking about equal rights, men were able to sign up to register to vote without signing up for the draft. So it's kind of a quid pro quo kind of thing. They don't have to sign up for the draft. We don't have to sign up for the draft. I honestly believe that women should have to sign up for the draft. It's fair. If they don't do that, then they need to get rid of the draft altogether. Now,
Well, that's the thing, though. I've never heard of men being able to get out of the draft, because I went to college, I'd say tried 2, 3 years ago, and each time I tried going to whoever I had to sign up for school for, they literally told me, "You are a man. You can get fined and put in prison if you do not sign up for this."
did you sign up for the draft?
Yeah, I had no choice. At first, whenever I first got out of high school, I said no. I don't really care about fighting. Like, I was just a teenager. I mean, I was an 18-year-old teenager. I just wanted to like play games, talk to girls and shit, just live my life. So I said no. And then whenever I got into college, they said, yeah, you could have gone to prison if you got caught being over 18 and not on it.
There, there's really no. They can't necessarily do any of that. All those things don't happen anymore. So
I mean, I understand, but we're strangers. So that's you saying that versus, someone who, I consider the school to be part of the government. If the school reports something to the government, you're gonna get a response pretty quick.
well, yeah, I
So,
believe the school is part. The colleges are part of the government. That's why they cost so goddamn much. But that's a topic for a whole nother discussion. Um, so do you just again? I kind of have to zero in on this because you're not really giving me a reason that you don't like the 19th Amendment.
all
Is
right, I'll answer it in like a very short. I'll be very direct. The reason why I do not agree with the 19th Amendment is, after I learned about it, is because it was the entire reason why there is a women's right to vote was literally because of a anti-masculinity anti-family unit agenda. If there was not that, there would never have been a 19th Amendment.
Okay. Forgive me for putting this bluntly. That's a load of bullshit.
Well, yeah, that's what we're here to debate about
The
or
ni-
discuss.
the 19th Amendment, the 19th Amendment was formed and solidified in the Constitution way before, way before any of this progressive shit that goes on in colleges even came close to being something. You understand that, right? Like, it's that there was no anti-man, anti-family agenda when the 19th Amendment was ratified.
That's kind of hard to believe due to the fact that I'm pretty sure you've seen this viral video of a woman going into feminism being a scam and calling out these companies, these quote on. I did not study before this debate. I'm pretty I find myself fairly educated on it, so correct me if I'm wrong. But this Rockefeller, quote unquote Rockefeller company, is the one that funded all these women getting into the workforce, getting their rights to vote, this, that, and the third. And the Rockefeller company, you literally hear the CEO in an interview saying the only reason why I'm doing this is to destroy the family unit.
Again, that stuff started recently. Like, really
What
started recently. And when I mean recently, I mean the last 10 years.
I
So,
would read up on that because this video is like
okay,
early 1900s.
hold on. They're talking about the early 1900s. The video wasn't. Like, you just said we're strangers, so what I said doesn't matter. You're going off of a video. You're going off of a conspiracy theory video. Because that's what that is. A conspiracy that this anti-man, anti-family agenda has gone all the way back to the 1900s. That
Well,
is
yeah, of
that
course.
is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because up until the early double aughts, the family was the important thing. You said you wanted to go back to the 1990s. If it was true that there was an anti-family, anti-man agenda all the way back in the 1900s, why would you want to go back to the 1990s? Because that means your anti-man, anti-family agenda is in full swing. It would
Well,
make no sense.
well, when I said I want to go back to a 90s vibe, is because I am a 90s baby. I do not know how society was in the middle, the mid 90s, the late, like 70s and 80s, and especially not the early 1900s.
If
So,
you are 23 years old, you are not a 90s baby.
uh, well, I'm a Zoomer. I'm a Gen Z.
So that you understand that generations encompass 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can be Gen Z and not be a 90s baby. You're only 23 years old. We're in 2024. You were born in 2000 at best.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Well,
so you understand that in the 1990s we had skyrocketing crime.
well,
Like,
yeah, but what does that have to do with the masculinity agenda?
I'm just asking if you why you want to go back to a decade that you don't know anything about.
Well, because of how society was, there's still people alive from those times, and
Yes, I'm one of
they're
them. Like, I was born in 1981. I grew up in the 90s. I graduated in 1999. I was there for the Y2K virus idiocy, and I was also there when they
you
started
wouldn't really
panicking.
remember those times, but it was this indoctrination of equality and women's rights, that far extends my generation. That goes all the way back to like your generation, like men and women that are 40, 50 years old, the Gen Xers. So like, of course, you would also be siding with women's rights too, because that indoctrination was from the early 1900s. And the reason why I know that is because, well, it's not that I know that, but look at all the anti-masculinity, anti-family like institutions, like family court. That is the biggest institution that society in general complains about. Men not being able to see their children, children growing up in single mother households, and single mother households produce the most degenerates in society.
Yes, they do. But again, we're getting into the weeds. So, your your disagreement with the 19th Amendment is because you believe that there is a conspiracy against the anti-male, anti-family agenda. That didn't
Well, yeah, of
start
course,
that
that's what the
didn't
evidence points.
start it didn't start until the late 2000s.
This whole agenda started when women went with family court back. Family court was established in 1910.
Yes.
Women got their rights 5 or 10 years later. Both of those
Do,
are like they are connected.
and do
Like
you under
family.
do you understand how hard it was for a woman to get a divorce in 1910? Do you understand why alimony is a thing back then?
Well, yeah, but why? Well, technically, I'm religious, so technically, I don't even like really agree with divorce unless cheating is involved. But I'll humor this conversation. So, how hard it was for women to get a divorce back then, I can't really see her reason being any different from back then to now. It's either going to be cheating or her
Hold on.
claiming that
Hold
there
on.
was abuse.
So back in 1910, marital rape was a thing. Back in 1910, it was still legal to beat your wife. Back in 1910, women were considered property. Now, it was almost impossible for a woman to get a divorce. And when she did, it had to be something serious. This, I want to state this now before we get into it. This, forgive the term, bullshit that you're being fed that women are out there divorcing men just because they want to, does not exist in the mainstream. You're talking about extreme examples. And yes, the reason I know they're extreme examples is because we can point them out because they get talked about. You don't hear news about Mary Jo who doesn't want to get or who wants to get a divorce because her husband cheated on her. You hear about Mary Sue out there who's banged 30 people behind her husband's back and decided to write a Medium article on it. That is an extreme. It is not something that happens in the norm of relationships. And listening, and this is what I have an issue with the red pill idiots like Myron. He posts and posts and posts and posts these stupid clips of him talking to Instagram thoughts and OnlyFans models and talking about their body count. Now, you can have an issue with a woman's body count. That's fine. But when you get to an issue where sleeping with more than one woman, you're considered a whore, that's a problem.
Well, I mean, that's kind of changing the goalposts here. We were talking about why I
That's not
think.
shifting the goalpost, that's explaining what I have a problem with the red pill. You brought up the extremes of why women are getting divorced, and that was not happening in 1910. What was happening in 1910 is that women were stuck at home being housewives. The reason alimony started to be 50% of a man's income is because they had no job skills. They had nothing to rely on because it was the man's job to provide for them. And because they could not provide for themselves, because they were not allowed to work, someone had to do it for them. And because the man had to work, and the 40-hour work week didn't start until the early 1920s, he was working a large amount of hours. So the wife, the former wife, got custody of the children because she could then provide for them. She could care for them. That's
Okay,
what the
so
court systems were back then. I agree that the court systems now need to change. And that's what red pillars forget to talk about when they talk to people like me or like Skarlet, they just assume we automatically disagree with everything they say about the court systems. I don't. I've been through it. I've been through it
All
twice.
right. Well, let's rewind a little bit. The reason why I brought up family court was not about. Well, it was gonna get into divorce and alimony, but the reason I brought it up was for its entirety. To describe family court in a very short way is family court is just a bunch of strangers who most likely are not even good parents themselves, speaking on other families on how they should raise their children.
You are making a vast assumption.
Okay, so what is family court? Describe it to me then.
Family court, and I have been through it, is a judge, and usually it's civil. There is
Okay, but
only
is that
in
judge your
extremes.
friend or family?
That judge is not friend or family, and is not supposed to be, and I have to caveat that with supposed to be, biased. The judge is supposed to take on the evidence of both parties and judge on that. Now, you can bring up the examples of family court dealing with like people who have money that we always see on TV, stars, things like that. They hire lawyers, and when lawyers get involved, things get vicious. Now, here's something for you, and this is anecdotal. You can take it however you want it. My parents, when I was 14 years old, got divorced. My father was never charged child support. Now, that doesn't mean he didn't give my mother money, because he had 2 sons to take care of, and my mom was working 4 jobs. So he helped.
Well,
I'm not done. He helped pay as often as he could. My mother never took him to court. My mother never begged him for money. She just said, Antoine and his brother need clothes for school. Antoine and his brother need money so I can buy them gifts for Christmas or birthdays or whatever it was. 10 years later, my parents got back together. Almost to the day. Because my father realized when my mother asked for a divorce, he fucked up. Now, that is an extreme example, because there are very few families that go through something like that. And the reason why is because my mother still loved my father. And that's something that you red pillars don't take into consideration. You just look at it as numbers. It's not. It's people's emotions. And one of the big ones that cause family court problems is you all think that it's just the court giving everything to the woman. It's not. Now, if children are involved, I believe that things need to be taken in consideration for both parties. If the wife is making more money than the husband gets the child because he's able to take care of them. The woman pays alimony, which does happen, by the way. If it's the other way around,
okay.
then yes, the man should be paying alimony and child support.
All right. Well, I'm gonna throw you something crazy here. Before you got into all that, I just brought up family court, and I was not taking anyone's side. I wasn't taking men's side or women's side yet. All I simply said was, is that judge a friend or a family member of any of those parents coming into their courtroom?
He's not supposed to be either. If he is a family member, he has to recuse himself.
Then.
If he is a friend, he has to recuse himself. He is not supposed to be either.
Okay, and what I said before I even asked that, I said family court is just a bunch of strangers. You don't know that judge telling you when and if you can see your own child. That is not up for a stranger to decide. And
do you know why it's up for a stranger to decide?
That's part of the anti-family agenda. That was never.
It is not.
Family court has not existed. There was no concept of family court in human history. There was no time where a stranger can boldly walk up to a man, especially in like 10 feet of a grown ass man, and speak any personal opinion about when and if a man can see his own child.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Your friends do it to you all the time. You have strangers, even today, going up to people telling them how they should raise things. That's why you have complete strangers talking to school boards. Now,
I'm
the
talking
reason
about.
I want to ask you, why do you think he has to be a stranger? Why do you think he has to be impartial?
So sides cannot be taken
So
if
that's
there was
why.
ever something unfair going on.
That's
But
why.
yet, but
Because
yet, what
if
has been happening?
the judge is the woman's father, what do you think is going to happen?
See, I'm not advocating for the judge to be a friend or family of either one of those parents. I'm arguing that family court is not for men or women, especially is not for children. It is literally for the degenerates of society, like promiscuous women. That is why promiscuous women are the main ones who have custody of their children. And you can't even tell me I'm lying, because on any social media platform, do you hear lawyers talking about, oh, the judge is biased against women? No, you only hear that about men. There was multiple groups, especially on Facebook, pages and groups about these fathers explaining their experience in family court judges. So you can't even, like,
So
you trying to speak otherwise is nothing but a personal opinion.
no. So you're saying family court is for degenerates only. So
Yes, of course.
so what do you consider degenerate?
Someone who does not have morals, someone who just, I'm not going big, I'm not like a dick again. It's just someone who is a bad person. I'm not gonna give a scientific definition of it. It's just a
So
bad person. They don't have morals. They make bad choices.
okay, so that's not just for women then. That throws out your argument right there. You are looking
So
at
then
this
why
as
is it's
you are
only
looking at
bad
this
women?
you are looking at this because it's not only bad women, that's what you're being told.
No, that's what I'm seeing. No one is telling me anything. I don't talk to people about this.
You talk to people online. You talk to people
No,
on Twitter. That's how we got here. You started a
so
conversation with Skarlet, I got tagged into it, and we started talking.
okay, but for you to tell me I'm wrong, how are you gonna tell all those people? You even hear lawyers who are in the courtroom speaking against what you're saying, but I'm supposed to believe you?
No,
Who
because
are you to tell a lawyer they're wrong?
I'm going to tell you. No, I didn't say lawyers are wrong. I said you're wrong in your thought that it's only for degenerates, and that
So
only
who are these
degenerates are
women that
women.
are so okay? So these women. So you tell me, since you know more about the court system than I do, who are most women traditional modest mothers, or are they promiscuous degenerate women?
Say that one more time.
I said the women who win custody of their children, are the majority of those women modest traditional women, or are they promiscuous modern women?
More than likely, the more than likely they are women who have had issues. It's not these
Okay,
extremes that you're talking about that they decided to
how is
jump
a
on someone.
promiscuous woman? Okay, we're in 2024. What makes you think that a woman being promiscuous isn't extreme anymore? Like,
What
this already tells me, like, you don't even know, you're not educated on the subject, but you're speaking on behalf of them.
you have no idea what the family courts are for. You
Yeah,
think they're just you
I know
just
what they're
no,
for.
you don't, because you just said that they're nothing except to go for women, and that the degenerates are women. You have
Because
no
okay,
idea what you're talking about.
if I'm wrong, where are the signs that promiscuous modern women do not have access to their children the same way fathers don't?
The ones that are in prison. The ones
What
that
women are
the
in
ones
prison?
that prostitutes, drug users. Those are
So that would mean
degenerates.
OnlyFans models would need to be in prison then.
No, because OnlyFans models are not prostitutes.
They're selling pictures and doing meetups with guys for sex. What are you talking about?
Those are porn actresses. And I want to clarify something. You understand that OnlyFans has normal people on it too, right?
Prostitutes are normal women. They're just women who just
So, hold on.
do.
Do you know what a prostitute is?
Yeah, it's a woman who exchanges money for sex.
Okay, so if a woman on OnlyFans is only selling pictures of her, that's it. She's not doing meetups. She's not bringing anyone else in. Is she a prostitute?
That's how would you know she's not doing meetups though?
Because
I
if she
know
was doing
have
meetup,
friends
you
that are-
you answer the question first. I will ask it again. Answer first.
Okay, what's your question again?
If all she is doing is taking pictures and selling those pictures, she is not doing meetups. How is that? Is she a prostitute?
By definition, I guess not.
Okay, so she wouldn't be a degenerate then, would she?
How would she not be a degenerate?
Because she's not a prostitute. She's someone who is doing something in the privacy of her own home.
How is it sending? Okay, she is still sending out her naked pictures. Anybody if that was a man doing that,
there are men on OnlyFans.
Okay, that is still degeneracy.
So they should have their children taken away from them, right?
I argue. Well, we didn't even get into that yet. I don't think that is up for a stranger to decide. Like,
of course it is, because it's based on the laws. The judges study the laws. They don't just come in.
You say that as if the judge is like righteousness, as if they are justice themselves. They are normal people like me.
Judges are justice. They have to be, or else we would have no laws. We would have nothing.
So if that was the case, then why throughout a human history judges would get killed because they would give unfair treatment?
No,
lawyers,
because the people believed they were getting unfair treatment. Because people like you, who are young, don't understand what they're talking about and think they're getting shafted.
But that's not. But everything you were saying is literally as if I'm speaking to a woman right now. You have been indoctrinated by feminism to believe.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
A judge, a judge is a stranger. A judge commits crimes. Like,
what is a lawyer?
What is a lawyer?
Yes.
By definition, I have no idea. I don't care what a lawyer is.
I'm asking for a specific reason. You don't know what a lawyer is.
I guess it's someone who defends or who's hired to either defend their client.
That's it.
Court of law.
That's all they're for.
I mean, that's my definition.
Okay, that's not what a definition of a lawyer is, and that's not what a lawyer is. A lawyer is someone who studies the law. That's so when a defendant does come to them and say, I need a lawyer to defend myself against the other lawyer who is trying to put me in jail. You do not understand legalese. You do not understand the laws. That's why lawyers go to school for decades to learn this. Judges have been lawyers. They study the law. It is their job to enforce the laws. So yes, their job in family court is to determine the laws that are being broken or used. They are an impartial party. The reason they're impartial, as we've already agreed, is so that someone doesn't get favoritism.
And that's not up for a stranger to decide. I understand.
So then who should decide it?
The father.
No.
Okay, that's your personal opinion then.
Do you want to know why the father shouldn't decide it? Do you want to know why the father shouldn't be the one deciding?
I mean, that's nothing but your personal opinion. I'll hear it. I don't really care for it, but if you want to
Because
tell
if the
me, go.
father is the one deciding, then there wouldn't be a divorce. If the father is the one deciding, then the woman who he's angry at would be left with nothing. If the father
Okay.
was deciding, the woman would have to pay for everything. If the father is the one deciding, it would be biased beyond belief.
So then, why was there not any concept of that before family court then? Because it
Family
seemed to me.
courts were created in Britain in the 1600s.
I mean, I'm talking about the USA, and I don't even know if what you're saying is even true. But
Do you
I'm
want me
talking.
to Google it and send you a link? Or do you not
If you
believe
want
Google?
to, but I do not. I do not believe everything I read on the internet. I do not do that whole
So what you're
source and
saying
study
is you
stuff.
don't believe things that prove you wrong.
It's a random Google search. What do you mean is gonna prove me
So
wrong,
if I give you a Wikipedia article, you're not going to believe it.
bro? You're like 40 years old, bro. I'm even way back in middle school. It was always told to me by other adults, do not rely on Wikipedia. Is the most unreliable,
Yes, and when I
inaccurate
was in
source.
college, that's what they said too. Do you want to know what happened? Wikipedia changed their standards.
Says who?
Says
Okay.
Wikipedia. Wikipedia now has a vetting process for the people who can add articles. If you want, I can direct you to someone that I know on Twitter who writes them. I can tell you that Wikipedia is now used as citations in college. They
Oh, you mean
use they
the
use
colleges that indoctrinate women to become liberals? Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Oh my god. So you don't believe anything that proves you wrong. You don't
I
believe
will
anything
believe.
that you don't see. You don't believe anything that you haven't heard yet. You are 23 years old. You haven't heard a lot.
I believe in studies and stuff that reflect real life. I don't believe a study or a source just because it's labeled a study or a source. Because there can be a Wikipedia source that would say, "Oh, the sky is like neon green." Like, should I believe it just because it's a source on Wikipedia?
Did you know that studies can be manipulated?
Exactly. That is why
So
they are
why do you
so
believe
unreliable.
studies?
I don't. I
You
said
just said
if
you
I
believe studies. So
if
hold
okay,
on. Hold Matriarchy. Hold on. You don't believe websites. You don't believe Google, which is a mass of knowledge that is conglomerated into one search. You don't believe Wikipedia, even though it's got standards. Let me guess. You don't believe the media either.
I believe them if research it and
So
what it's saying aligns with reality.
you don't know the reality.
Of course I do. That's why I listen to other people's experiences
You
and
don't even
determine.
know that family courts started in the 1600s in Britain. Do you want to know why that's important?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, tell me.
Because Britain was still running us at that point in time. We gained their laws to bring here. Our laws are based off of British law, which is why you have common law and maritime law. Our
Laws
laws,
written.
our laws were based off of Britain. Now, you don't know reality because there's no study that says that that family court was started in Britain.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I researched that, and that's what Google told me.
You
Family court
just said you
started.
don't believe in Google.
No, I said I don't believe every single study and search that just claims it's a study or source. That's what I said. Obviously, I look up stuff the same way any other person does, but if I see or hear something that sounds ridiculous and like it does not align with history or reality, obviously I am not going to believe it.
So you believe it now that history and reality have aligned with the family court system.
What? Okay, We what has history aligned with family court? Because what we discussed is, I say family court is a bunch of strangers that don't have a right to come in a father's family and tell them how to raise a family.
All right,
So, what about history aligns with that?
Matriarchy, I will ask you a question. You want the father to decide what happens during divorce, correct?
I mean, obviously, there would not be a divorce. A divorce is not something mutual.
Okay, so taking that into consideration, the husband. Now, you understand what a hypothetical is, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a hypothetical. The husband, who now gets to decide what happens in the relationship, beats his wife weekly. Do you believe that he gets to decide what happens to that woman?
I mean, with that such little detail, I'd still argue yes. Because you don't know why that woman was getting beaten. You don't know why the dad was getting attacked by the woman. All you just said is the father's
So you
attacking
don't
the
know how
mother.
to deal with hypotheticals. Okay. I will give more detail then. The wife, are you ready? Pay attention. The wife cooks dinner for him every day. Every day he goes to work, he comes home, 5 o'clock, dinner's on the table. She takes care of the kids, takes them to school, makes sure they get their homework done. She gives him sex whenever he wants, even if she's not feeling up to it. She does not argue with him. She does not provoke him. She is the perfect traditional wife. He beats her every Friday because he goes to get drunk with his buddies and comes home and thinks that she hasn't done something that she knows she has. He doesn't listen to her and just beats the living shit out of her to the point where she passes out and wakes up Saturday morning. Is that enough detail for you?
Yeah, of course.
So, does he get to decide what happens to that woman?
Um, not. I mean, in that case, that would be up for the police to decide.
That's perfect strangers. They're deciding what happens to the man's relationship.
Okay, not necessarily because
Yes,
of the
necessarily,
police.
because you don't know the police.
Okay, well, let's go into that topic really fast. The
I
difference
want you to
between
answer the question first. I will ask it again.
what's your question? What's your question?
Does that man in that scenario get to decide what happens to that woman?
I mean, he's in the wrong in that case, so no.
No. Okay, she gets a divorce from him. Do you
Okay.
think that's justified?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, that happens. That happens more often than anything you talk about women going out and getting fucked by 30 men because they want to.
And
Domestic
that is
abuse.
where you threw your and
No,
that's where you throw yourself under the bus
no,
because
there's no throwing myself under the bus. Listen, if you meet a woman who has had 2 people in her bed before you, do you believe she should sleep with you?
Wait, what was your question?
If you are going out with a woman and she has had 2 sexual partners before you, do you believe she should sleep with you?
I don't believe like she should, but will I be expecting it? Yeah, of course.
Why?
Because she's not a virgin. Like, why is she
So what?
withholding? Because that makes no sense. Why are you making the guy? Well, when women start with
No, no, no,
someone
no, no.
new,
Finish your statement, what you were just
I am.
about to say.
I am. I'm not deflecting. When women first like a guy, I mean, get with the guy, they like only that guy. So why should I have to wait for other guys that didn't? Why should I wait for someone who's not a virgin? Like, what am I waiting for?
You to get to know her.
What if
So
those other two guys didn't get to know her?
what
Like,
if they did? What if it was a year-long relationship? Or a 2-year long relationship? You are automatically assuming that she just jumped in the sack with someone. That is a you problem. And that is why you have this horrible vision of women. Because you don't know people. You
what are you
I'm
talking about? We didn't even get into why I
And
dislike modern women.
I'm a woman. Can I talk for myself?
Please, Scarlet, go for it.
Yeah, me personally, I'm 33 years old. And I only have a body count of 2. I know it's shocking to believe, but it's true. See, I grew up in a family where there were so many single mothers everywhere. My cousins were single mothers. My own mother was a single mother. And that right there, I'm like, I don't want to go sleep with some dumbass idiot and go get pregnant and be a single mother and then be struggling financially and not knowing what the hell I'm doing. I know what I've seen it, and that was a huge motivation for me to not be promiscuous. Um, and so then after I dated this guy I shouldn't have dated, I was like, nope, I'm done with all this. And so I waited. I met my fiance. He, I, Here's how I see things. See, I don't, people assume I'm the feminist because I support women's rights. I believe that a woman should have the right to choose if she wants to be in a traditional relationship or if she goes to work and the husband stays home with the kids, or if the wife wants to stay home with the kids and the husband works, or they both work and hire a nanny. And the reason why I support all those is because everybody's financial situation is different, and it's not always easy to adapt to what we think should be happening. There's lots, me personally, I think traditional roles is a good thing, but I can't sit there and say, oh, well, you're going against everything because this is how you do it differently than me. I support the right for women to choose what would work best for her financially and what would work best for her and her family to function and to thrive and to be good. I'm not this feminist who hates all men, who wants to emasculate all of them and make them feminists. No, 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 no. Because my own fiance is a masculine man. He has the final say in the house. I listen to him. That is how it is because I chose that. He can't force me to do anything that I don't want to do. I let him have the last say because I chose to be submissive. It was a choice of mine. He can't force me to do it. That'd be breaking the laws by that's holding somebody hostage, and that's not what's happening here.
So,
So
Scarlet,
what?
let me ask you.
Okay, I'm listening.
You've had 2 people. All right, you
Yes.
have a body count of 2.
Okay.
One of them is your fiance, I'm assuming, because you're pregnant.
Yes.
So, let's say, hypothetically, you're not pregnant. You, how long have you been with your fiance?
Um, Engaged or just all together?
Altogether,
5.
5 years. That's a decent amount. Your first body count. How long were you with them? I don't want the name. Just how long were you with them?
I would say like 4 months.
4 months. All right. So we have a 4 month relationship and a 5 year relationship. Those are actually 2 good examples of what can happen in a relationship. So I'm going to ask you, Scarlett.
Mm-hmm.
You and your fiance break up. All right. I know it's tragic. It's sad. Your heart is broken. You mourn the relationship. I'm giving you all these details because matriarchy needs details.
Okay.
After 6 months, you go out, finally putting yourself out there to date again, and you meet Matriarchy. You two hit it off, you think he's cute, you think he's fun, and he expects you to sleep with him. What are you going to do?
Well, because I'm not a virgin, um, Are we talking about eventually or like right away?
Right away. Because
No.
as you heard, Matriarchy believes that since you're no longer a virgin, and you can correct me, Matriarchy, but because you're no longer a virgin, you didn't make the two men before him wait, he should be able to sleep with you.
No. And here's the reason why I say no is because no one can compel you to do something that you don't want to do. Because when somebody says something like what manner, whatever his name is, I'll just call him Fight.
That
what
works.
Fight fails to realize is when he's saying she should sleep with me since she's no longer a virgin, that's a sense of entitlement, and that kind of dehumanizes me a little bit. Like, you're not human, you're just a plaything, a toy to manipulate and use and discard at my own leisure. And that someone who thinks that clearly lacks empathy and sees me as lesser human being, and because they, like, I'm a man, therefore I'm supreme, I'm better than women. Not all men think like this, so let me correct myself. Not all men think like this, but those who do think like that, they see women as lesser human beings. They see them as inferior, and that women owe them everything. Be- what I'm trying to say is, I'm not cattle. I'm not a toy. I'm a human being. I can feel pain. I can feel grief. I can feel happiness, anger, sadness, joy, all the emotions that a man feels. I, as a woman, can feel. Now, I experience them differently than in situations, obviously.
So, Matriarchy, hearing a woman tell you why they don't feel that they need to sleep with you, what do you believe?
Well, I mean, I answered that question before she even, told her part of the story. I never said men. I mean,
I'm
I'll get into
asking
that.
you personally. What
Yeah,
do
yeah. I'm gonna answer that. So I never said I demand or treat a woman some type of way uh because she does not uh put out on the first date. I said it's an expectation, like you are expecting it, not she should.
why are you
Now,
expecting it?
because on that date to even attract her, men have to do, like, already have crossed out a laundry list of expectations. She's
Uh,
more times than not, women are expecting you. You even see it on all these social media reels. You openly hear OnlyFans models with high body counts trying to say they expect men to be traditional while they are not traditional women.
now
That makes zero
I
sense.
want to point out that Ishtar, who is in the chat, says that you said you expected her to give it up.
Yeah, that's what I said. I
Okay,
expected.
so
That does not mean demand.
no, but why do you expect it? Why?
Because I'm not dealing with a traditional. First of all, that is as misogynistic as you guys try to make it sound. Expecting a woman to sleep
Do,
with you
do
on
you
the
know
first
what
date has.
misogyny is?
I was just about to ask you that because I know exactly what it means.
So tell me what it means.
I'll tell you what it means if you could tell me.
I can give you the dictionary definition of misogyny.
Okay. Oh, well, I want to know your definition. Do
The
you know the definition?
my definition of misogyny is the same as the dictionary definition of misogyny. Misogyny
All right, then we're
is
on the
men
same page.
who hates women. So me saying that you are entitled by expecting a woman because she is a virgin to sleep with you is bullshit. You are
Well, I never said I'm entitled.
no, it makes you
Expectation?
entitled.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Expectation and
You are
entitlement is two different things.
no, you expect her to sleep with you, which makes you entitled.
No, that's your personal opinion.
Self
Expectation and
entitled.
entitlement are two different things. Entitlement means that you are basically demanding, like you are saying, "Oh, I am getting sex because I did X, Y, Z." Saying expecting is just a thought, like, "Oh, I'm gonna get I'm gonna get ass after this date. It's literally just a thought, expectation.
No, that's hope.
Oh my lord.
You
You
hope
you can
you hope that you're going to get it. You don't expect it. When you expect something, you believe you are deserved it, which makes
so
you entitled.
no, you literally keep saying the definition of entitlement, but putting the word expectation in front of it. We can have our separate definitions of it, but just not like you're kind of throwing me off. You are put
I'm
you like you are.
confused.
I'm saying expectation is not entitlement. When you have a package arriving in the mail and you keep constantly going to the
You
window
mean
and checking for it,
predictable?
you are expecting it. It's
Are you
in your.
talking?
So, the definition of entitled is
My God.
believing oneself to be inherently deserving of privileges or special treatment. Doesn't that sound
So
like you expect to be laid?
so do you not believe in the term of how? Okay, so how do you expect something then without feeling entitled?
I don't
Since you think
expect it.
those are one and the same.
Do you want to know what I expect? I expect to be able to make my wife happy.
Okay, but that wasn't the question. I said since you believe expectation and entitlement are one and the same, what do you think what would make you think that they are different?
Expectation, you can be expectant of something, but expecting someone to do something is and believing that they're going to give it to you because of other causes makes you entitled. I can expect the Borderlands movie that's coming out on August 9th to be absolutely garbage. Right? We all if you've seen the preview of it, it looks bad. I can expect that the next election between which is probably going to be Joe Biden versus Donald Trump again is going to make a hell of a lot of people unhappy, regardless of who wins. I can expect that this stream is going to end with us not reaching agreements on some things. Do you understand how that doesn't make me entitled of those things?
Well, yeah.
Okay, you are expecting someone to give you something because you believe you deserve it. That is entitled.
But I never said, quote unquote, I deserve it.
You said you expect her to sleep with you specifically because she gave it up to two other people.
But
That
that's not
makes you
that's
believe that when you say that, you understand that you put out yourself, that you believe you deserve it. That's what you're saying.
well, no. If I were to say I deserve it, I would literally say that. You saying that I'm saying it is just your words. You are implying what I'm saying when I am being very direct.
I am going
I've
off of
never
what you're saying. I am an outsider. We have already established that you and I don't really know each other. So, as an outsider, as someone who has never met you before, when you say something like that, that's the impression I get. And I can guarantee you that multiple other people get the same impression.
okay, but
I know that's
I
just their opinion.
yeah, exactly. Like I really feel like that is being like extremely confused. A personal opinion versus like a general opinion and facts.
We've already established that you don't believe anything that goes against what you say because you haven't seen it for yourself or you haven't researched it, or the data, which we've already also agreed can be miscalculated, can be influenced and lied about, says otherwise.
I have a question for Fight. So when you said you expect her to do it, are you saying you're predicting that she's going to do it because she's done it in the past? Is that what you're trying to
Ye-
say?
Yeah, I guess like it would like am thinking I checked off all these boxes. I did something that is usually rewarded with sex. So I would be hoping for sex, predicting it. So yeah, I guess.
So wait, so you wait, did you just say that if you did XYZ then you would expect her to give you sex? Is that what you just said, or correct me if I'm wrong?
Well, we were talking about the concepts of a man taking a woman out on a date.
Mhm.
Usually, more times than not, that like results in sex. So yeah, I guess.
I can't relate.
Oh, okay. Well, there are exceptions to the rule. I understand that, but for the most part, anytime I've ever
So the
heard,
exception
especially,
to the rule is the person who sleeps together with on the first date. That happens less often than the 3 date rule. And the 3 date rule happens less often than someone who waits a month to sleep with someone, or 2 months, or 3 months, or happens less often than people wanting to get to know someone.
you
You're
know,
talking
I
in generalities. Unfortunately, sleeping with someone on a first date is an extreme. It is outside
okay,
the
but
norm.
that's you said you were married and have a child, right?
I am married. I am married to my
Okay.
second wife, and I do have a child, yes.
Okay, so it's fair to say that you've not been in the dating market and you don't. And how long have you been married for?
I've been with my wife for going on 6 years.
Yeah, so that's very fair to say that you don't know the type of women like the current dating market right now
So
because
you're saying I
everything's.
can't do what you do?
What am I doing?
Just observing other people? I can't learn from other streams? I can't learn from what I see? Just because I'm
Well, of
married.
course you
I can't.
can, but
But I
you're
can't because
observing.
I'm married, right?
I'm saying you're not gonna get the same result as if you were out here experiencing the dating market. You can look at as many videos as you want, do as much studies as you want. Experience is the best teacher and will always trump all those sources.
How many relationships have
You
you
heard the
had?
man, Matthew. Go cheat on your wife.
Wait, what did you guys say?
How many relationships have you had? I'm talking
I
full relationships. I'm not talking you went out for 3 dates and she never called you again or you ghosted her. I'm talking about actual relationships. How many relationships have you had?
maybe like 5 or 7.
5 or 7. How long was each relationship?
About a year.
You are 23 and you've had, let's go with 7. Each one lasted a year.
Well, obviously during my teenage years, it was obviously near a year, like under a year.
Okay, near a year and under a year mean the same thing.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, you got me.
7 relationships, all a year, and you are 23. So you have been dating without missing a beat, breaking up with the girl and picking up another one right afterwards for 7 years.
No, I've never done that.
Okay, so then they haven't been a year. Now, be
I meant
honest.
I
Be
do know.
honest. How many were a year?
I think like maybe 3 or 4.
3. Okay, so how long were the others?
Maybe a few months. Like if we're going back in like high school, middle school, really not gonna remember that because it was mostly like video games and like childish stuff that was on my mind.
Okay, so then those relationships don't count. So let's go with a base age. Since you were 18, or do you not like 18?
Yeah, 18, 19. I guess that's when I had my second or first like real relationship.
Okay,
But like, what is the point of all this?
I'm asking because did she sleep with you right away?
No,
How
but
long did it take her to sleep with you?
I say about 1 to 3 months.
3, okay. Is it 1 month or is it 3 months?
I mean, in my serious relationships, I think it was 1 month.
1 month. How many dates did you have within that 1 month?
Uh, Maybe like 1 or 2.
1 or 2. So then on the third month, you had on the third date, you were at 1 month. So the 3 date rule is proven. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. In between those dates, did you ignore her at all? Did you
No.
not talk to her?
No, I always talk to my girl.
Okay, good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm not gonna. You were getting to know her. Now, if those getting to know her took place in those 3 dates, let's say you went on a date on the first weekend of the month, the second weekend of the month, and then midway through that third week, and you still got sex on the third date, do you know why it was okay for her to sleep with you on the third date?
I'm guessing because she decided it was okay.
Because she got to know you and she trusted you. You didn't expect sex, right? You were young. I'm sure
Oh,
you wanted it. There's a difference between expecting and wanting. I was 18 too. I was 19. I remember being a horny fucking bastard. Believe me.
well,
You, you
expecting and wanting is a synonym for one another. So
no,
that
they are
means
not.
exact. Oh my god. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter if it is or not. Like,
You wanted sex, right? You are a red-blooded American male.
yeah,
So
I
you
wanted
wanted it.
sex.
So did she because she trusted you. Now, I bring that up because we're going to circle it right back around to you expecting a woman with a body count of 2 before she met you, and how you expect her to sleep with you just because she banged 2 other guys. You were with that girl for a year, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
remember correctly, you were with her for a year. I'm sure you had more sex than once. Because you were 18, 19 years old, you're a horny bastard, which is perfectly fine. So,
Okay. Yeah.
the girl that you, in this hypothetical that we're talking about, the girl that you're meeting at this first date, where you expect her to sleep with you because she has had sex twice before with 2 different guys, do you see why that's a problem? You don't
No.
know her dating history. Those 2 guys could be 2 years each.
Actually, for each girl that I've gone in a serious relationship with, I did know their past. And every girl who I've been with, well, after adulthood, has had a promiscuous past. They either had a body count of 5 or up, or somewhere under 10 or at 10.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the law of averages for a second. You understand what that is?
No, I don't.
Okay, the law of averages is that everything has an average. Every male has an average height, an average weight, an average amount that they can lift weights, an average amount that they can run. Every woman has an average height. Do you get the examples I'm giving? The law of averages is the idea that with the grouping that we have of generality has an average.
Yeah,
Okay,
I understand that.
okay, you have that concept. Good. Hold on to it. You understand that there are people who go outside of the averages. Now, the people that are outside the averages are actually degenerates. By the actual definition of the term degenerate. Degenerate just means outside the norm. It degenerates from the norm. So the law of averages is the norm. The girls that you're talking about, that you have met, are still outside the norm. If they how old were they with a body count of 5?
I don't know, like 19, 20.
20 years old with a body count of 5. Were they lying to you? Did you
I
know
don't
the
know.
5 guys that banged them?
No, because back then that was way back during like my innocent stages where I
So
had no problem with feminism or the 19. So I
did
thought,
they tell you that they had had 5 sexual partners?
yes. And I've also heard my friends who I went to school with try telling me like, "Oh, this girl's a hoe, this done." So
So
back then
what?
I didn't care.
Remember, that's people's opinions.
I understand back then it was an opinion, but seeing how my relationships ended, it came to like I took it like right now, like after that relationship ended, I saw that they were telling the truth
How did you see that they were telling the truth?
because in each one of my relationships, I got cheated on.
You got cheated on. So, what that tells me is that you have poor choice in women.
Well, it's either that or most of the women are not good women.
Or you have poor choice in women and you don't want to be blamed for having poor choice in women. Where did you meet
But
them?
I worked with them. It's either school or I worked with them.
So I'm going to
Well,
ask
you're
again.
expecting me to say I met them off of a dating app and stuff?
No, I was expecting you to say you met them at a club or something, or a bar.
Yeah, that was my next guess. No, these were
People you worked
average
with.
women. These were average women that put on a traditional act and then decided, hey,
So I don't mean to get psychiatrist on you. I don't. When the relationship was starting to fall, did you know?
no, because back then I did not understand female nature or any of that.
Okay, you still don't understand female nature, but that's fine. So, you didn't see that they were cheating on you,
I mean, I always had my suspicions. The signs of cheating are not really hard to detect.
but you didn't know.
I just didn't want to go straight to conclusions.
So you didn't talk to them.
I always talk to them.
No, you didn't talk to them about this.
About what, cheating?
Yes.
Yes, I've always accused my woman of cheating, or I always questioned my woman of cheating
Why?
if something sketchy happened.
What is sketchy? I'm honestly asking. I hope that's coming across. I'm honestly asking. What is sketchy? To
Sketchy
you,
is
what
just
is
a
sketchy?
Gen Z term for like
No, no, no.
weird
I
or
mean, give me an
strange.
example of what you think sketchy is. You could even say
Like,
sus. I don't. I understand the term. I want you to tell me what you thought sketchy was, not the definition. In your relationship, what did you think was sketchy about it to make you question it?
it was either, oh, I'm gonna go hang out uh with these sets of people. Um, my so and so wanted to give me their Facebook or number because me and him used to be best friends. It's literally every type of excuse
Okay, hold
a,
on,
a woman gives.
hold on. So, we were talking. You said you know female nature. Do you know male nature?
Yeah,
Okay,
men are just
so you were about to say men are dogs or
yeah,
something. Yes. Okay, so we're going to take the example because you brought it up of her saying that she gave someone her number because they used to know each other and it was a him. All right, it was a guy. Did you know
yep.
that because women are emotional, they're the more caring sex, when a guy rekindles their relationship, and I don't mean relationship as being a relationship, I mean rekindles the friendship or whatever it is, that's a relationship, the guy is looking for interest. The girl is not. You understand that, right?
No, that's just your opinion on like the
That is
matter, but
female nature.
no, it's not.
Yes,
You're
it
literally
is.
just describing what you've been
Can
told is
I
female
can I
nature.
interject?
Go ahead,
Yeah, go ahead.
Scarlett.
Like I like if you guys want to know female nature, you just gotta ask me. I'm right here, you know.
Women don't even understand well, women understand women, and y'all don't like each other, and most women lack critical thinking skills. So
Who told you that?
I'm gonna
it's
have to
just
disagree with you on that one.
it's just okay. I guess that was kind of a disrespectful way to answer your question, but
Like, I get
I
that that's
understand.
something
Let
that
me talk
Myron
to
would
him,
say, or
Antoine.
that it is a joke from a comedian. I've heard the women don't like women joke from comedians before, but saying a woman doesn't have critical thinking skills most of the time is vastly wrong.
I feel like most of our disagreements come about, you believing that we live in this 1950s world when in fact we live in 2024. Like how you think of women is long gone.
No, it's
But
not. How I think of women is, Scarlett, I'll let you talk in just a second.
Okay.
All right, you are 23 years old, Fight. Correct?
yep.
When I am 42, I have met more people than you ever have. Now, because I have met more people than you ever have, let's break that number down to something that people can understand. Let's say 100,000. Okay? You are about half my age, so you have met 50,000 people. Do you understand this so far?
Yep.
Okay, I have met 100,000 people. In those 100,000 people, I have met misogynists, I have met misandrists, I have met sexists, I have met racists, I have met KKK members, I have met black supremacists, I have met gang members, I have met criminals, and I have met thieves. There are differences between the two. Out of all of those people I've met, that I listed off the dregs of society, do you want to know the percentage?
A percentage of what?
That of those people that I've met?
Yeah, sure.
About 10%.
Okay.
So, 10% of 100,000 is 10,000 people. That's a lot, right? I mean, you could fill an entire stadium with 10,000 people. But that still leaves 90,000 people. Of those 90,000 people, they are the average. Those 10,000 are the degenerates. Those are the ones that are the extremes. Because I have met 90,000 people, which is still more than your 50,000, I have a better grasp on how people are than you do. I have a grasp on how the normal person acts, how they react, and what they're able to comprehend better than you do. Because if we give you the same grace in saying that you have met 10% of your 50,000 that are the same people that I met, that is 5,000 people, which knocks yours down to 45,000 people that you have met, which I'm still double. You do not understand norms, you don't understand people, you don't understand generalities, and you don't understand how people work. You understand what Myron tells you because you listen. You understand the memes that RX Redpill puts out because he's an edgelord, and you understand that you believe it's not your fault for having bad choices. And I am someone who can admit that I have made multiple bad choices before I found my wife. Multiple. I like to say I hacked my way through a briar patch of psycho bitches. Do
Okay,
I?
yeah, I understand that. But if we cut off Scarlet, so if she wants to reply to me or you,
Sorry,
I'm listening.
Scarlett. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I apologize.
Well, I mean, I already told Antoine this, but I used to. We're gonna talk about gender. Kind of wraps into what he's saying because you said female nature. I'm gonna talk about what I used to think what male nature was at the time, because I used to be a misandrist, and it wasn't from the guys I picked the wrong guys and now I hate men. No, it started from my childhood, but dating the wrong guys that definitely did help. But just so you know, it's not just from dating the wrong guys. Um, but my thing is, here's what I thought men were like based off me seeing them, and I got victim blamed quite a bit for it. Um, I've been sexually harassed, sexually assaulted by men. I've had men put their hands on me, degrade me. I genuinely I was like my uncle treated me like garbage. I mean, he didn't touch me inappropriately or anything like that. He was all verbal and mental and gaslighting and stuff like that on his part. And I just grew up being terrified of men, thinking if I showed any emotions, if I did this, if I did that, I'm gonna get the shit beat out of me or worse or whatever. And so I thought that men are the I told Matthew this. I was like, I thought men were evil, vile, disgusting abominations to the human race. They're just soulless monsters who wear human faces. That's exactly what I thought of them. And this guy told me once, he's like, you have a trauma induced delusion about men. And I didn't want to believe him. I was like, I'm thinking, you're gaslighting me. I know what I experienced. I know what I saw. And then when I would get victim blamed for it, I was like, oh, of course, you men would victim blame women because you're manipulators. You love gaslighting people. You love hurting people. It's a fucking hobby to you men to purposely hurt and inflict suffering on women because you're all sadists and not the fun kind either. You know? And and that's what I thought because it was a trauma induced delusion, and I got a lot of therapy for it. And like how you say female natures, because you're going off your personal experiences and you're listening to other people's experiences, and here you could have a whole group of women, millions of women over here listening to you talk, saying, oh, I know female nature because they're like this and this and this and this, all the extremes. See, what I was mentioning were the extremes examples of those certain individual types of men, because not all men are like that. And trust me, I wouldn't bet if this was a few years ago, I would never admit that to myself or to anyone else, that it was in fact a trauma induced delusion that I got from being abused. I was so convinced that this is how men are. This is normal. Therefore I should just get used to it. At first I was like, you know what? You can't, you can't hate somebody for their biological nature. And then it's like I try to do that to myself. Try to, like, don't hate them. It's just their biological nature to act like abominations. And then I was like, wait a minute, I hate them for what they are. Like, I just every single time I tried to do something to make myself stop hating them, I just wound up making myself hate them even more. And then when I finally snapped out of it after going through so much therapy, and because my therapist was a guy, okay, like, he knew everything how I felt and thought, and he did everything he could, and he finally convinced me it was a trauma-induced delusion. And then I started, like, grouping guys, and what I mean by it, like, okay, so this person is this type of person, and this person is this type of person. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, everybody has similar behaviors. They do certain, like, narcissistic traits. Just because someone does a narcissistic trait over here doesn't mean that they have narcissistic personality disorder like that douchebag over there. Like, I have to constantly, sorry, in the past, I had to constantly tell myself over and over and over that they're not all the same. Everybody's different. Everybody's human. They all have certain traits that everybody shares, and they all act similar in certain ways. But just because you can have four people and they all share one trait all with each other, that doesn't make them all evil people. That just means they have one bad trait, all four of them, and they got it from somewhere. Like, my therapist was reasoning with me, like, people don't just wake up bad, Barbara. Something happens to them. They're human too. Like, they weren't just born bad. That's not their biological nature to be evil demon spawns or whatever. And eventually he got through to me, and now when I see these assholes online wanting to talk about, because I remember there was this guy the other day. I was like, "You're not taking away my rights as a woman," and the guy's like, No, you'll still have no, not all your rights. You'll still have your right to remain silent. Like, just like, you motherfucker. And I didn't hate all men because of that. I was like, red pills. Those red pills think that way. Not all men are red pills. Like, see, I was separating it. I was like,
See, I want to say something to that. I for starters, I'm not undermining your experience. If you were, abused, essayed, or something that you did not do wrong and you got punished for it, like yes, then that man, and those men don't deserve, good women, etc. However, I think like the women that usually describe complain about men
mhm.
are usually, you know, the reason why like women complain about men is not really taken seriously nowadays or in the red pill community is because who do you mostly see being like the abused, quote unquote, abused and mistreated ones? Do you on reels or viral videos see men going on social media describing splitting up their family or divorcing out of boredom or because of government handouts like alimony and child support, or is that women?
I don't watch those.
I mean, it's kind of hard not to. It's on every social media platform. It's
I
either on
don't.
YouTube. Well, then if,
I
but
have.
but then that would contradict your arguments then, because if you don't know what men are going through, how can you speak on behalf of
That's
men
why I
and
said
tell
it's a
them that they're lying?
trauma-induced
You're
delusion.
speaking on behalf of women without knowing what they're going through.
No, I'm speaking on behalf of men and women because I've already experienced and see what happens. If you got the entire planet from first world to third world countries complaining about a specific kind of women, and then you two are in first world countries trying to defend them and not listening to men's decisions, that's why, like,
Which means you're speaking for women without knowing what they've experienced.
because what they experience is not, women live life on easy mode.
They do
Like
not.
Oh no,
women live a way easier life than men, and
I
trying
can't
to
say I know
say
what.
otherwise, that's kind of why, like, I see where the confusion is. You guys are like,
There is a difference between living life on easy mode or living an easier life. Easy
no,
mode
it's kind
means
of the same thing.
no, they really aren't. If a game, and this is an example, if a game has easy, medium, and hard, and you are good enough at the game that hard mode is easier for you, that's not easy mode. Easy mode takes away challenges. If you are saying that women have no challenges, even in Western countries, then you are delusional. Because women do have challenges. There is a stigma that women have in the workplace. Now, should they change that stigma? Yes, but they won't because of men like you.
The workplace is more so against men now, ever
The
since women
hell
started
it
joining.
is. Certain aspects of the workplace are against men, but the workplace in itself is still, to this day, easier for men to navigate than it is women. Do you want to know why? A doctor,
No,
a doctor who is a male, who has the. I'm going to give you another hypothetical. Okay? There are two doctors, one male, one female. They have worked the same amount of hours. They have the same education. They are the same specialization. Do you know why the male doctor makes more than the woman doctor?
probably because he either A, does a better job, works longer hours.
I said they work the same amount of hours.
Oh, well, if they get, well, probably because the man has either more experienced
I said
or.
no. I said they have the same experience.
So then tell me why they get
Because the
paid more.
man is better at negotiating than women. And it is easier for their boss to look down at the woman and offer them something knowing that the woman will accept it. A professional setting, a boss will look at a woman who is working the same hours, the same experience, the same job, and offer them something lower than they will offer the man, because they know that the woman will just accept it without questioning it, whereas the man will question it.
But women have more jobs and opportunities than men. I think you're thinking of
Bullshit.
another hypothetical.
Bullshit. What job do women have that allows them to have more opportunities than men?
Every job that they're in. Most women like work in the nursing, in the medical field, are just, they work relatively easier jobs than men.
You have never known a nurse.
I've never known a nurse? Yes.
I have known RNs, I have known emergency room technicians, and I have known doctors. You have no idea what you're talking about. The nurse works harder than the doctor does.
Well, yeah, because that doctor has already worked his ass off to become that doctor.
No, the doctor went to school to become the doctor.
So how would the female nurse not? Women are more. There's more educated women than there are men.
You are misunderstanding that stat. So I'm assuming you believe, because there are more women in colleges and higher education, that they're more educated than men. Correct?
What else would that mean?
That would mean that there are more women in college than there are men. Do you know what the percentage is?
Probably 70.
You are way off. The percentage of women as the majority in higher education is 55%. Now, it is growing, because before it was 51%. Now it's 55%. So yes, men are the lesser sex in colleges. But do you know the percentage? Say it one more time.
I said I have to go. Lee wants me for something.
Okay. If you need to come back, you have the link. You can just join the green room again and I'll bring you in.
Alright then, thank you.
Yep.
Nice meeting you, Fight.
You too.
Bye.
Do you know the percentage of trade schools?
No, those I don't. It's probably
There are more men.
not that different.
There are more men in trade schools than there are women. A lot more.
Well, probably because, well, for starters, if we're moving the post to the workforce in general was invented and maintained by men. Women.
So if it was invented and maintained by men, and we are going back to what you said about about the conspiracy, about the government having an anti-male and an anti-family agenda, why is it that men, on average, make more money than women in every place they work?
Because outside of your hypothetical example, women call off more, take longer vacations, they have maternity leave, and women generally do not work infrastructure or jobs that help maintain or
what you're
progress
saying
society.
is they don't have trade jobs.
Well, it's not that they don't. It's just
what
women
job do you
choose
think
to
has
not work.
infrastructure? You bring up infrastructure. What does that mean to you?
I guess trade, but I'm not trying.
It's plumbers, it's electricians, it's the people who make things go on. Garbage men are technically tradesmen. So yes, men, as I said, are in more trade jobs than women.
That's not helping your argument then.
It's pointing out that women don't live on easy mode.
How do they not work on easy mode if men are the ones working these hard jobs to help, or that's keeping society
Because
running?
they also have their own specializations, which you pointed out.
Like what?
Nursing, psychology, teaching,
All
caregiving.
easy jobs that
They
do
are
not
not
benefit
easy, and
society.
I can tell you caregiving is not easy. Have you ever had an old person shit on you? Do you want to?
Dude, you're not helping your argument.
I
Am I
am, because you're
saying?
not paying
Am I saying?
attention.
Am I saying in its entirety, those are not hard jobs? No. I'm saying when you compare them, yes, infrastructure or society progressing jobs will always be harder than a nursing and daycare
But it is
related
not
job.
easy mode. If we
Oh
take
my God.
the example of the video game, they are playing on medium, not easy. Men are playing on
If
hard. It's
if you're
still a
trying to
difficulty with difficulty.
okay, if
Having an
there's
easier time in something isn't easy mode. I am having an easy time running around every single one of your arguments. Does that make you a woman?
I mean, you could think you're winning this argument. You kind
I
of
can
been proving
guarantee
my
you
point
I'm
the
winning this
whole time.
argument.
I mean, yeah, that's your personal opinion, bro. Like,
It's not.
real life contradicts everything you've said.
No,
your
it
whole
doesn't.
entire argument has just been personal opinions and uneducated statements.
Really? You didn't
Yes,
even believe you didn't even believe something that I told you which was factually true until you yourself went to go get it. Was I wrong?
like what?
Are you even paying attention to anything we've brought up in this conversation?
Well, you didn't say what was brought up that
The family court system being around in Britain since the 1600s. I told you that. I told you that. You did not believe me, and then you looked it up and you went, "Yes, you're right."
No, I did not look that up. I said, if it makes you feel better, I looked up when was family court established, and it said 1920s. The whole British family court, no, I did not look up, and that doesn't even matter to me because family court in general, it was not established for the good of society. It is a key factor of why the society is declining. So you defending it does not help your point.
It does. But let's bring something up. You want to bring up things. How many men raise families? No, and I'm not talking about pay for families. I'm talking about make the children lunches, take them to school, take care of them, make sure they're there when they're sick, tuck them in, read them stories. Who does more labor between the sexes?
For those examples you just named, the women do.
That's something difficult, yes?
Yeah, I never said it was easy.
No, but they live on easy mode, so it should be easy.
Yeah, compared to a man's life where he has to
go to work and earn things for the family that he created. He took responsibility.
Yeah. He has to work and come home and help the mom with the children.
In most cases, that doesn't happen. In most cases, says the court system, the divorce system,
my God.
and everything else. You do not know what you're talking about. You have no idea. You don't even believe that judges should be able to unilaterally and impartially decide what happens during a divorce.
No, because there should not be.
I already proved to you why that happens.
No, you gave one personal.
No, I have never beaten a woman in my life. The example I gave you, you even agreed, yes, that woman should get divorced. So,
yeah, but the only part you are confused about here is the fact that you live in fantasy. You live in a dream world.
I live in reality.
You say you live in reality, but then you say things that contradict reality.
No, I don't, because judges are impartial. The husband who is asked for a divorce should not get to decide what happens with the relationship.
Okay, and that's your
The
personal
most
opinion.
the most domestic violence that caused in relationships is done by men.
Domestic violence, bro. Domestic violence, most of those are just false accusations because most people don't know the difference between discipline and abuse.
You need to discipline your wife?
Do you have to discipline your children? Are
Your
women
your
perfect?
wife is not your child.
Who said she was? Who said discipline was only occurred in childhood and teenagehood?
So
Or it
you
only
discipline. I
occurs
asked you. So you discipline your wife, and
You
you
can't do that
responded
shit
with,
nowadays. But
and
yeah,
you
back
responded
when
with, you discipline your child. Your
Well, yeah,
child and
because
your
you
wife
speak.
are two different things.
Okay, but you speak as if disciplining women is wrong, but disciplining a child is right.
Because a child doesn't know any better.
Exactly.
So you
why on
discipline your
earth?
wife because she doesn't know any better, because you're the man and you know everything.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna explain this to you like very simple. I'm gonna ask you a question because this should clear up some confusion. Can we both agree that children deserve discipline?
Yes.
Well, not deserve, but they need discipline.
They need discipline to thrive.
Okay, but discipline, well, like you just stated, and I agree with, when children get disciplined, more times than not, they don't know what they said or what they done, but yet we discipline them anyways.
And you tell them, have you ever disciplined a child?
I'm getting to that. I am getting to that. So they get disciplined for not knowing shit. So tell me where the logic kicks in. To discipline a child or a teenager that does not know any better, but to not discipline a grown-ass woman who's already been a child, who's already been a teenager, who already knows better. What sense does that make?
All the sense.
No, that's nothing but your personal
Listen to
opinion.
what you're
that makes
saying.
No sense.
You aren't even mature yet. You understand that, right? Your brain
That's your
is still
bro,
growing.
there's lots of people that would tell me I am mature. So you trying to tell me otherwise, that's nothing but a personal opinion. That's
No, it is a scientific fact. The human brain does not fully mature until 25. You are 23. You have 2 more years of maturing. Your body is where it needs to be.
Wrong. What's your point?
So you being 23 and not mature, if I'm older than you, I should be disciplining you, right?
No, not strength.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Because I'm the adult here. You're not. You're not mature yet.
So 18 is an adult, but 23 isn't.
That's not what I said.
And here you are trying to argue.
That's not what I said. I'll try again.
You literally just said,
I will try again.
And you're not.
Listen, we'll try again. You said that children, because they don't know any better, because they're not mature, need discipline and need to be told what to do. You are still not mature. Scientifically, your brain has 2 years to finish maturing. You're not there yet. I am 42. I am the adult in this relationship that you and I are having right now. Should I discipline you?
Obviously not.
Okay, guess what? That works the same way for women.
Bro, you don't eat. Oh my God. Discipline is not only exclusive to children. There's other men that get disciplined. What do you think the whole point of jail and prisons for?
That's not discipline. That's punishment.
Bro, discipline is a synonym.
No, it's not. I will bring it up because you need the definition.
Discipline and punishment is literally the same thing, just in different words.
I will read both of them. I will get both of them for you. Discipline. The practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior using punishment to correct disobedience. Using punishment, which means punishment is different than disobedience or discipline. You understand that?
You literally just read it in the Oh my Lord. Why are you debating?
Because you don't understand what using a word in a definition means. If I am telling you the definition uses a different term, that term is something different.
No, it's not. Different means opposite. It has
No,
nothing
it
to do
does
with one
not.
another.
Different means different. I have blue eyes. You have brown eyes. That's not opposite. You have no avatar. I have an anime avatar. Those are not opposite. You have the name Fight the Matriarchy. I have HFTG Archives. Those are different, not opposite.
Yeah.
Different
have
does
different
not mean
meanings.
opposite.
Bro, the opposite? Oh, bro, we're going way off topic here. You keep using words. If punishment is in the word, the definition
That
of
means
discipline,
it's a cyclical definition. So,
bro, that means
Matt,
that they're
you
the
listen
same
to Matt
thing.
Walsh, I'm assuming, yes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, what is a woman?
An adult human female.
Okay, woman is not in that definition. What does he always say when someone uses the term woman in the definition?
Wait, what reword your question?
What does Matt Walsh tell feminists, SJWs, gender ideologists? What does he tell them when they use woman to define woman?
Bro, that makes no sense. How do you define women?
Answer the question. What does he say?
I don't understand your question.
What does he tell the people who say a woman is whoever identifies as a woman? What does he say?
He tells them that makes no sense. That's a circular argument.
Exactly, which is why the word punishment is not the word discipline.
I never said it was the
Yes, you
exact
did. You
same
said it's a
word.
synonym. You said it is a
Yeah,
synonym. A synonym means that it's the same meaning of the word. You can't use the same meaning to define the word. Just like
for those
saying
two, you can.
No, you can't. Otherwise, you can define a woman as whoever identifies as a woman.
No, because there is no synonym for one. Well, except for female.
So then that works, right? They're female because they identify as female. That's a woman, right? I'm going to let that register for you for a minute.
Okay,
I think I lost him. And I don't mean lost him because he doesn't understand what I said. I think I lost him because he roboted.
Yeah, sure. So I don't know where you think it's okay to discipline a child but not an adult.
Because they are grown adults.
That does not mean anything.
Yes, it does.
They
have responsibility for themselves. You do not get to dictate what their responsibilities are.
Bro, that's what the government is doing. The government is not running.
That's not relationships. We're not talking about the government. We're talking about relationships.
Okay, and to punish an adult, a punishment, discipline for adult.
It's not discipline, it's punishment. Their parents should have disciplined them when they were children so they wouldn't commit crimes and be punished.
Okay, but just because you're an adult does not mean discipline is excluded from your life. Like, you're just nitpicking at everything.
Yes, self-discipline is a thing. You don't know what nitpicking is because I'm not nitpicking. You are. You are moving.
I'm not. I'm being very direct.
No, you're not. You are saying discipline in form of relationship, meaning man disciplining a woman. And then you decide to add to it, but what about criminals?
Dude,
because they're two different
each
things.
Other. When men
fight each other is not discipline. It is not. It's not discipline.
It is a form of punishment,
which is not discipline.
Bro, when you are being disciplined, discipline is not to feel good. It is a punishment. You are getting hurt.
Yes, because punishment is something different from discipline.
Oh.
I will bring up the woman argument again if you want.
No backtracking. We're good.
So, it is not your responsibility to discipline your wife or your girlfriend. You understand that. Yes?
That is nothing but your personal opinion. If
That
you
is
choose
the
not,
opinion of the generality of human beings on this planet.
that makes that no, that's not. You do not
Yes,
speak
it
for the
is.
most of human history.
So if I'm
For most,
disciplining someone and I chain her to a radiator as discipline, is that okay?
that is not discipline.
Yes, it
Chaining
is.
someone,
I am teaching
chaining
her a
someone.
lesson. That is discipline. I am teaching
Okay,
her
well,
she's not supposed to do that. That's
okay,
discipline.
well,
Is that okay?
I'm talking about a general form of discipline, which is either a slap or a spank or a punch.
I hope to God you are not slapping women. I
So
hope to
whether I
God.
am or not, that what are you gonna say, that men who hit women are bad guys?
Yes, they are.
Okay, well then that's nothing but a personal opinion.
No, that's the law.
Okay, and the law is not written in stone. The law changes all the time.
That
The
law
law
has not changed for a very long time.
okay, that's like saying, oh no, that law is pretty damn new. For all of human history, the Bible ages, the Stone Ages, the medieval ages, even 200 years ago, you could, even 100 years ago, you can hit a woman. And then for the last 100 years, you think 100 years speaks for all of human history?
Yes.
Bro, why are you debating?
Because you bring up
You
past
make no
all
sense.
the time. You're bringing up the past all the time. Guess what happened to the men who beat women? When they were found out to beat their wives in olden time, they were strapped to a horse and led through the center, where men and other family members threw shit at them. They were put in the stocks.
I'm not saying that never ever happened, but no, for most of human history, you could hit women and children and other men.
I don't know
The
who you heard that from, but they are lying
Bro,
to
it's
you.
human history.
No, it's not. It's never been okay. I am telling you that men in olden times, men in the Bible times, men in the Stone Ages, when they mistreated women who were their partners.
That's not mistreatment. How do you know the situation to say the man that hit the woman is wrong? How do you know what went down?
Because you are physically more imposing and powerful than she is.
Well,
so
no
you're
fucking
saying,
does.
so
That's
you're
why
saying,
that's why women should
you
not
are
try to
saying,
provoke men.
you are saying that it is okay to beat on weaker people. Is that what you're saying? So it is okay for me. I am 6'3". I am 300 pounds. How big are you?
5'8".
So, you're weaker than I am. It's perfectly fine that I can come up and slap you.
I mean, without the government, I mean, you obviously not.
Not only is it okay for me to slap you, I can throw you around like the little bitch that you are because you're a manlet. And it's okay. Is that okay for you?
I'm not getting into a whole internet argument about fist fighting. Like,
no, it's not. It's not
point?
An argument about fist fighting. I am trying to get you to understand the complete and utter flaw of your logic, which is it's okay to beat on people that are smaller and weaker than you.
But did I say they get hit because they are smaller and weaker?
No, you disagree with the fact that it's not okay to hit someone because you're stronger than them.
That should mean no man, no weaker man, no woman, no child should get hit if we're going by your logic.
Yes, that's why there are laws against that. Do you know if you and I get into a fight, okay? Even in high school, if you and I get into a fight, we both get in trouble? You understand that?
Well,
now, I get in more trouble because I'm the aggressor. Because you're weaker than I am.
No,
but we both get in trouble.
We both whoever throws the first punch is the one in trouble.
No,
not because
no. Every school in America, if both students who are fighting get in trouble, the one who was aggressed on gets less suspension than the one who was getting aggressed or who was aggressing. In regular everyday life, if I walk up to you and you let me punch you and you don't do anything, then yes, I'm the only one who gets in trouble. If both of us are fighting, if you are fighting me back, I will get in more trouble than you because I'm the aggressor, but you will also be charged. Do you want to know why? Because I can charge you with assault.
Okay, and you want to know the irony or a newsflash? Those laws where men get in trouble for getting in the fights, all these anti-violent laws, that did not kick in until after women joined politics. Women do not understand violence the way men do. So why are they speaking on behalf of men's issues when they
Because
have no
you are
business being in them?
speaking on women's issues that you don't understand. That makes you
Because
a
men
hypocrite.
are leaders. You
What
have
are
to
you
lead.
leading?
Did I say me personally, or did I say
Are you
men
not
in
a
general?
man?
Okay, but was I talking about a
So you're
personal
not a
problem?
man.
You keep deflecting.
I'm not
I said
deflecting. I am
men.
using your example against you.
If you're using my example, you would use men, not me.
So you're not a man. Okay. Thank you for
Oh my
establishing
God.
that. Are you male?
Obviously.
I don't know. You could identify as female. I'm sorry. You could identify as a woman.
Okay, and if you are not smart enough to determine between the two, again, another personal problem.
You don't get it. All right. Apparently my sarcasm is lost on you. So, you are male? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So with you being male, what are you leading?
Men? Well,
No, what are you leading?
Right now, nothing.
So you're not a man.
Says who?
You!
No, I did not say that. You are putting words in my mouth and making up shit.
I'm sorry, Matriarchy. You said that men lead.
Yes.
You are a male, which makes you a man. Yes?
Yeah.
What are you leading?
If I had a family or if I had a girlfriend,
so you have
I would
nothing. You have nothing to lead. So by your standard, that small standard, you're not a man. That makes me a man because I'm leading my family. I am making the decisions for my family.
Bro, for all we know, your wife is the.
Do you want to talk to her because she's been dying?
No,
to come in
I
here.
don't. I'm literally just making up an example. There's no need to keep deflecting.
I'm not deflecting. I'm asking you if you want to literally talk to her.
No, I don't. That is deflecting. I never said I want to talk to anyone else.
That's not deflecting. That is asking you a question.
And
you brought up that my wife runs my relationship after I said.
Oh my God! I said, for all I know, she could be the one who wears the pants in the relationship.
And
that's
I already told you that she's not because I'm the one leading. So that means that you need to be proved wrong. Because you
cannot prove me wrong.
I can because you can talk to her.
Oh my God. Bro, this all started because you say that to beat men or anyone who beats up on someone smaller is automatically... Oh, no, fuck. What were you saying again?
That it is not right to beat up on someone weaker than you. And it makes you a coward.
Okay, but I did not say beat up. I said discipline. When someone does something...
disciplining.
I'm sorry. Bro, you do not speak for discipline.
And neither do you. You are
I
speaking
never said
from a form of authority that you don't have, that you keep turning over what I'm saying because you know better. You immature, mentally immature, non-man, by your own standards, are speaking on behalf of men when you have no ability to understand it. And then you decide you're going to speak on behalf of women without understanding what they can do. And then when they say you can't do that, it's because men lead.
How late in the game are we in human history for you to be saying I speak on what women can do? I have not spoken on what women can do. I know what women can do because of the people of the past who've gone through life with women.
But why are you going off of things of the past? You've already said that we shouldn't do that.
When did I say that?
About 10 minutes ago.
No, I've never said that.
Yes, you did. When I brought up what we used to do to men who beat women in the past, you said you can't take that into consideration.
No, I did not say that.
You do not know anything you're talking about at all. You contradict yourself constantly. You have no understanding what definitions are. You have no understanding what certain words mean. You keep using move goalposts. Learn what it means first. You keep using deflection. Use what it means first. If you want some advice from a man to someone who isn't by your own standards, learn what the word means before you use it. Learn how to spell it, learn the definitions, learn the synonyms, and then you can use it.
Yeah, I would take your own advice, because
what does moving goalposts mean?
Moving the goalposts means that you're trying to change the subject.
No. Moving goalposts means we stay on the same subject, but I add something to it. Moving the goal of the question away. That's why you're moving
And what is changing the subject? What is changing the subject?
Not moving the goalpost. It is an actual debate term.
But what is it? But what... I'm asking you to explain what changing the subject means. If someone were to
describe... the subject is moving onto a different subject, not moving the goalposts.
And you
moving the goalposts would be, I ask you how many girlfriends you had, because I believe you've had none. And you say, well, I've had 7. And then I say, well, that means they're not really girlfriends because you're too young. That's moving the goalposts, because that means the goal that you have has changed. That's what moving the goalposts mean. Now, if I change the subject by you saying, I've had 7 girlfriends, and I go, okay, how many mothers have you had? That's changing a subject, not moving the goalpost.
I know, you have not
moved the goalposts once. Yes, I have not done it once.
Dude, we started this conversation by simply saying, I never said men should beat up on people that are weaker than them. And now we're talking about this. You definitely did.
Yes, because you don't understand things and I have to explain it.
Dude, you don't need to explain it, because everything you
I
say
have
is a
to, because
opinion.
I'm the man and you need to be disciplined.
Not according to most men.
Yes, according to most men, even your own standards. Because you've said them.
Bro, in general, you would be labeled as the man not to listen to. You would be labeled as the whipped one, the simp and stuff.
What's a simp?
It's men like you.
What's a simp?
Why we have family court.
What's a simp?
It's basically a man who puts a woman on a pedestal.
Okay, so I'm not a simp. Because that's not what a simp is. A simp is someone who pays women for attention. Who is so
No, that's
thirsty.
not the definition.
Yes, it is. Because it started with e-thoughts.
That is one description of...
That is what it is. I have retweeted RX Redpill, who says being attracted to a woman is a simp. Being attracted to women makes you a simp? Is that what a simp is?
Obviously not.
Obviously not. Obviously. Because a simp has a definition. Next, you're going to call me a cuck. Because those are the 2 words that red pills like to use. What is a cuck?
A cuck is just a man that that lets his wife sleep around, or he watches or some shit. I don't know.
You actually got that definition right.
I'm pretty sure I got the other one right too.
No, you didn't.
A
simp started from paying female streamers for their attention. That's what it means.
All right. Well, this debate or discussion dragged on for the 2 hours you predicted it would. There's still a lot to discuss. Let's discuss it another time.
When would you like to discuss it? If you're wondering why I keep turning my camera off, the avatar does not like when I put things in front of my face and he goes all wonky and I'm drinking water.
That's fine. I wasn't wondering that. But I will maybe next week. I don't know. I don't try to live on social media, and these, topics aren't. I'll message you, or you'll see me on Twitter, and if I DM you, you DM me, and we want to have another discussion, we can. I'm not trying to say like this conversation needs to be taking place months from now. Maybe it can be later on this week, next week, etc. But yeah, it's been 2.5 hours, so I didn't want to like keep this dragging out. There's still like lots to discuss, so definitely there needs to be another live stream about these topics. And next time, I'll take your advice. I'll do these Google searches and sources and actually come with facts.
If the next time you want to talk, you want an actual debate, let me know. We will set it up. I will find a moderator. Understand, a debate means timed discussion. So
Okay, but like, I feel like you take everything I say like way too literal. Like a debate, I felt like tonight was kind of a debate minus the moderation. I don't mind a discussion like tonight for the next time.
well, we are debating topics, but it is not a debate. Like I'm not taking what you say literally. I'm using the word for what it means. Like, there is no such thing as debate on YouTube or Twitter or things like that. They're just arguments. We may not agree on things, which means we are debating them, but the term debate in that aspect means time discussions and actually having a winner. This is just us talking. Yes, it got heated. That's fine. It happens. I don't have. I want to finish this. I don't mind talking to you again. Fight. I really don't. So I want you to know, and I'm being honest with you 100%. I'm not being snarky. I'm not being condescending. I don't hate you. I don't even hate Redpill. Okay? I just disagree with your viewpoint on how bad you see society. Because society is not that isn't that dour. It's not doom and gloom. I want you as a 23-year-old man to experience life and not be afraid of it. I want you to go out there and be the best person you can be. I don't want you to be afraid because you think something that you heard is going to happen. I have no problem talking to you. I have no problem talking to anyone. I'm sad that Sergio didn't come in. I would have loved to talk to him. I think I've talked to him before on Twitter. I'm not sure. I don't even know if we disagreed on whatever it is. I know the name. Because it's kind of hard to miss the name the purple pill. It means exactly what it means. You're kind of in the middle of everything. So if you want to do this again, by all means, hit me up. If you just want to talk, hit me up. I may not be able to get back to you right away, and I understand you have a life. I told you I have a life. Everything is fine. All right?
Yeah, of course. I don't hate you either. Again, I kind of was just going to repeat the same thing you repeated to me. We disagree on stuff. I don't dislike you. I want to do this again. So, but I was just letting you know, like, it's been 2.5 hours. I didn't know if you were going to say it first or me, but I was just basically saying, let's pick this up the next time.
All right. That sounds good. So,
all right. Nice talk, though.
Let me do my outro for the people. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, Fight the Matriarchy is on Twitter. His information is going to be in the description if you want to follow him. He does post funny memes. I do mean it. I saw some that were highly entertaining. I saw some that were extremely entertaining. If you want to give him a follow, go ahead. As you can see, he's not that bad of a guy. If you want to follow me, my stuff is in the description as well. But this has been HFTG Archives. I have been joined by Fight the Matriarchy in a very heated discussion about all sorts of things. I hope you all had a good time, and we'll see you all later.